ladies and gentlemen, and good morning to you. Today, I'm going to bring you the Warlock Tools Part 3, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my favorite forms of divination. Um, you'll notice in the description box that I put down bones. Okay, this is a type of divination tool that practitioners use, necromancers use them, voodoo practitioners use them, and black magicians use them, yes. I am not one of those unless you're talking spellcasting. Okay? Spellcasting is something that is used with bones, and there are three types of bones to pay attention to when doing any form of sorcery involving bones. Okay? Let's say, for an example, jinxes, hexes, and curses. Okay? There are what we refer to as the kids' bones, the female bones, and then the masculine bones. Okay? The male bones. So, depending on your intent towards your target, bones can be a great influencer within canning jars, grist bags, you name it. Okay, so that's the first thing that I want to point out today. So, bones can be used in a form of divination. Okay, kind of like runes. Okay, they're a form of runes. You can cast them. Each bone, the way they land, tells a story. Now, personally, I'm working on getting a set for myself. I've never actually gotten into bone reading before, so this is going to be kind of interesting for me. Because mostly I just stick to what I know. I'm a creature of habit. Most warlocks are. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Ouija boards. Ouija boards are known also as talking boards, spirit boards, even. You can open portals, you can commune with spirits utilizing these tools. Okay, this particular tool in general, you can ask questions. You can invite spirits through to talk to you, but without a disciplined and focused mind, you could find yourself in peril. Okay, I will tell you that right now. The Ouija board is not for an amateur or an adept, it's more for somebody that's been practicing 10 years and more. And you can use the Ouija boards alone, but it's better when you work with a bunch of people because it's bringing all that energy to the table, much like in seance. Very, very good thing. I use it every time I go into my ritual room and I want to commune with spirits and I'm seeking guidance and wisdom from those that I work with, that I made deals and pacts with. These this tool has really clarified a lot of things for me within my own rites and rituals. The best way to pursue a ritual, to say something going on in my own particular life or that of my client, but you can only go so far with it. Okay, so you keep that in mind. Now, runes, on the other hand, you can cast them all day long. Okay, much like bones. But like bones, they only give a small percentage of information. Okay, they can only give a certain amount of information, and you can only ask one question at a time. Okay, and there's really not much you can do because there's only a certain amount of runes that you can hold in your hands to be able to cast them. Same thing with the bones. Okay, so even though I own two sets of runes, I really don't get into rune reading that much anymore. It's comes down to what I'm doing and how many clients I have and what type of questions that are put forth. Now, it's also the same thing with the Ouija board. Okay, I have two Ouija boards that I work with. Okay, One, not so much because it's big and it's bulky. The other one's light and handmade from Turkey. Really love this one. It was one of just a few that was made, and it was soldered the whole kit and caboodle, and it's beautiful. Okay, I got it off eBay. Very um, powerful board. Love it. The inverted pentagram, the behemoth, photo. The individual who made it did an awesome job. Now, like I said, like the Ouija board, runes can only get you so far. Which brings me to my favorite. I have 7 decks of what people call today tarot cards. Okay? Tarot cards. My son's getting ready to take a bath too, so it's like he's got those new bath bombs or whatever they call them for toys. They're like paints that you use in the tub. Loves them. So, anyways, tarot cards. I use 2 decks most of all, but I have 7 of them. Okay, I have the necromantic one, or I should say the Necromyicon deck. I have the deck. I have the Fallen Angel deck, the Demon deck. I have the White deck and a few others. So I mean, even the Oracle Celtic Dragon deck too. Okay, and I've also got the Ian Daniels deck, and this deck here, the Ian Daniels, is perhaps the most used. I don't know if you can actually tell, but you'll notice how they're all, I wouldn't call them frayed, but you can tell they've been used a lot. Okay, this is perhaps my favorite tool out of all my divination tools, and the reason for that is because I can sit there and I can ask the same question in various different degrees. I can lay down as many cards as I need to open up that information that I'm seeking for either myself, my family, or my clients. Okay. And I can sit there and visibly take note of everything. Okay. I'll take a notebook with me and a pen and just write down the cards that come up, the amount of times they come up. Okay. The cards that come up the most, there's obviously something going on there with them. So it's a matter of bringing them together and saying, okay, these are the cards that come up the most. Let's see what the information is. Is it, they've been in light position or dark position, shadow position. And in this case, let's look at it like this. Let's say, for an example, you have, let's say, the Empress, okay, 5 times, okay. Let's go with the Ace of Skulls, okay, the 7 of Knives, and the Daughter of, say, Scepters, okay. And then you we can go with, say, let's go with a Major Arcana like the Priestess. Let's go with the Tower card, okay, right off the bat, and the Magician. All right. Now, depending on the question that's being put forth, you can easily look at all the surrounding cards, go to these cards, look at them. What are the specific commonalities between them? What is the reason that these cards are coming up? All right. It does not matter the placement of the cards. It does not matter how many cards you lay down or what spread you use. Tarot card reading is also, perhaps one of the best tools that has ever been used in witchcraft and sorcery. The thing I like about this particular deck, the Ian Daniels deck, is because it deals with just about every aspect, from the physical to the emotional to the spiritual and to the magical. Okay, not just the main questions dealing and surrounding the major arcana. Okay, all of these cards play a huge part in the information seeking, and I can sit there and do a half a dozen to a dozen different readings, you know, for a particular client. Okay, or I can do more depending on how difficult the reading is. Because if I'm summoning a patron, let's say for example, my patroness, Astaroth, okay, I could be petitioning Astaroth for her insight into this reading, and I can use the individual's name as a blind reading and say, hey, this individual came to me. He or she is asking for a reading. How can I get into this? Okay. What information do you have that I don't see here? Okay. So if I've already done, like, say, let's go with 8 readings. Okay. 8 completely different spreads. And I've got maybe 3 to 6 cards that have popped up within, say, 3, maybe 2 times, 2 to 3 times. We can see a pattern here. Okay. But for some reason, I'm not seeing it. So I would write this down. I would write these cards down, how many times they popped up, and I'd do another spread. And I'd say, hey, I call upon you, Astaroth, to come to share your wisdom with us. Use me as a conduit to share your message. Okay. And the good thing about cartomancy is you can do blind readings, but at the same time, you can do personalized readings in person. They're easy to take with you and they're easy to deal with. And when you have a spirit that's involved, all you have to do is just sit back and open yourself up to them. Let them work through you. Okay. And the good thing about that is the fact that people are amazed at how accurate those readings are. You take, for an example, the Celtic Druid deck. Okay, the Oracle deck. Very, very accurate, and a lot of people were amazed by it. Okay, so I mean, think about getting into cartomancy. Okay, cartomancy was the original name for tarot cards, going as far back as the 11th century. Okay, tarot cards were beginning to be, the term tarot card didn't get started until about the 16th, 17th century. So you still have centuries before this, before Edward Arthur White and all these other so-called occultists that have come forth since the 16th century that have referred to it as tarot cards. Okay, go back before then. Down below in the description box, I actually spelt cartomancy, so you can actually go underneath Google and do your own research into it. Okay. In fact, I added all of these in that I've just talked about. Now, personally, cartomancy is my main thing, but it does not mean I can't go into other areas, things that I did not put in the description box, like, say, pyromancy or the scrying mirror, okay, the black scrying mirror, even crystal ball gazing. There are other tools that you can utilize within this. One of my go-tos, if all of my other tools fail me, is pyromancy. Okay. I sat there for an entire month with a circle of candles, me sitting in the center of them, meditating to a black scrying mirror with a single candle behind it. You would be surprised at how easy scrying with a scrying mirror really is. Okay, it does take focus. You do need to not blink. So there are methods and tools that you can use to help you control your eyelids. The interesting thing that I found intriguing about this is that you start off by looking at your personalized image while you're contemplating and thinking about what your intent is. Okay, if you're thinking about a client, let's say, I'm just going to throw a name out here. Let's go with what's the biggest celebrity out there these days making waves? Ah, let's go with let's go with Becky Lynch, the WWE diva herself. Okay, or even Alexa Bliss. Yeah, you look at what their characters they play are. Okay, or even that of say Moxley. Okay, the former member of the Shield, brother to Roman Reigns and what's his face there, the one that likes to curb stop. It's been so long since I've watched WWE. I catch glimpses on YouTube every so often. So let's say, for an example, one of these individuals comes to you and says, "Hey, I need a reading done. Okay, I need to do this to better my career." Okay, so let's say I've done 2 dozen readings with this. No go. It's nothing more than a duality process. Okay, let's say for example, it's 50-50 down the road, not one side or the other, but stays dead center. Okay, with all the information. Well, then I would bump it up to the black scrying mirror because now I get to go into the astral, I get to go into the spiritual nexus and use the black scrying mirror to see what is not being seen. Okay. In this case, it starts out with you, and the image changes due to the incense and the candle behind it, candlelight. Very, very intense, very, very interesting to see how that changes. And if you use your own blood and smear it across the black scrying mirror, it opens that doorway. So you are the only one who can open it, and you are the only one who can close it. Okay. Remember the opening and banishing rites of the pentagram. Okay, same exact thing. The only difference is you're not utilizing a pentagram or a pentacle. You are actually using an actual doorway to the spiritual nexus so that you can commune with spirits. Now, if you're into the African Caribbean traditions, you're communing with your ancestors. Okay, you're learning from them, you're gaining that wisdom from them. And if they don't have it, you can always call on the Loa. Okay, you can call upon the Orisha if you're into Santeria, Pedro Mayambi, or Pedro Monte, even um, Kumbanda or Rambanda, Lukuma, for an example, just to name a few of them. Now, if you're into Brujeria, that's a whole nother ballgame because you're utilizing the saints. Okay, kind of like Saint Death or Beloved Death. Santa Morte herself. Okay, because she's actually utilized in Brujeria, not just the actual practice of Santa Muerte from a Mexican tradition. Okay. In witchcraft, within Brujeria, you got 5 different types of witchcraft that you can use to help benefit yourself and your clients in this fashion. Each one, you're dealing with animal familiars, you're dealing with actual spirits, actual saints, and you're dealing with El Diablo. Okay. And like I said, as a practicing, as a shaman, or in a past video, as a practicing shaman, because most of these individuals from Mexican and South American are actually healers. They're shamans, they're black magicians, they're sorcerers, and yes, there's even Satanists down that far as well. Okay, so each practice is different. You got to keep that in mind when dealing with divination. Okay. Some like to go into caves where they have an entire shrine set up to El Diablo, meaning the devil. For those of you who don't speak Spanish, now keep in mind my Spanish isn't that good either, so um, I'm learning as I go within this tradition of Brujeria. So, but the point is that others will set up a giant circle and they will burn a giant pentagram at night, okay, and do seances and invocations and evocations, summoning spirits. There's actually very good videos of that right here on YouTube. Okay, I recommend you look them up because some of those are just far out. I have to say it myself, is some of those are just mind blowing. There's even a couple that went down to find the witch markets and ended up one of them ended up getting cursed by one of these witches, these brujo, okay, meaning witch, the brua, the witch, not the warlock, the witch. A brujo is a warlock, okay. So ended up finding a warlock, a practicing warlock down there because everybody kept recommending this one guy, what time, where he's always located, or surrounding that little area where he's always located at what time during the day. And he ended up having that curse removed. And the interesting thing about it is the story behind it, because of how he used divination to determine what curse and what method to remove that curse, just by palmistry, which is another good form of divination. Very, very fascinating. So if you're not familiar with divination in general, or you've just been sticking to the basics of just say one kind, I would recommend that as a practicing warlock, reach out into these other traditions and see how they do divination. Some use seashells, okay? Others use bones. Others use cartomancy. Others use pyromancy, hydromancy, even. Okay, even hemomancy. Hemomancy is blood sorcery, blood magic. Okay, and these things have been around for a very, very, very long time. Okay, so if you're not aware of this stuff, okay, I can tell you firsthand that there are 36 different types of mancies out there. 36. I only know a small handful of them, and that's after 32 years of practice. Okay, I didn't even realize there was 36. I've gone maybe 8 to 10 different mancies. There's still 26 more to go. That's awesome. That's all I gotta say. All right. Um, so yeah, get into these, learn about them, and start practicing them. I guarantee it, you will see a much easier method behind your magic, behind your sorcery, when you get to learn definitions and the different forms of definitions that you, as a practitioner of the arts, can practice. All right. And with that said, I want to thank you for joining me on this podcast. And if you like what you see, like what you hear, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Nobody's twisting your arm. If you don't, it's on you, not me. But I do welcome you with open arms. All right. Have a good day. And until next time.